Unity of Houston is an inclusive church where we seek to understand and live the teachings of Jesus and other spiritual masters. At Unity, we welcome all people from all spiritual paths and every walk of life. We celebrate the diversity of our city and of our world, and we teach love, tolerance, and oneness, seeking to live in harmony with open minds and open hearts.
Wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are always welcome at Unity. Join us and discover that the life of your dreams is already within you.
We've already been touched and moved in such profound ways, but I do have a message I want to share with you today. I've titled it, The Healing Power of Friendship. Somebody's getting a call from God. I don't know who it is. There was a little boy who was in Sunday school. He's about 8 years old, and kids are different. Some kids just need more physical activity, and he was one of those kids, and the teacher was frustrated. She kept trying to get him to settle down and just listen, and he kept wanting to move around, and finally she got frustrated. She said, "Johnny, I want you to go sit in that corner and pray. Ask God to help you in this class." And he went over to sit down, and she said, "And when you feel that you've said a good prayer, then you can come back and join us." And he sat for longer than she expected him to. And she could tell he was really praying. But then he gets up and he comes back to join the circle, and she said, "Did you pray? Did you ask God to help you?" And he said, "Yes." "You asked God to help you to be better in this class?" He said, "No." "I prayed for God to help me put up with you." People, right? You know what I'm talking about. You know how people are. I don't remember where I saw this recently, but somebody was talking about people, and she said, "But they're the best thing we have." Really, people are all we've got. And it's the good, people who can write symphonies, who can create music like that, and people cause holocausts. People do the best and the worst things. And most of us are not that extreme, but we too have our own greatness and weakness in us. That sometimes we show up at our best and we bless and heal each other, and sometimes we don't. And we show up and we cause harm. And maybe I should just say I. I learned to say I statements. Sometimes I don't show up as my best. And what I've learned in my years of being in this spiritual journey is that I don't have to be perfect, but I do have to show up. And what I've learned about church is that spiritual community is a place where we don't have to be perfect, but if we're willing to just stay here with each other, having those awkward conversations about accountability and amends, those are not fun things to do. But you know what happens if we stay in the room and we have those conversations? We grow. We begin to trust each other. We heal, and we, like those beautiful videos of those crazy girls. Where are you? Is Angie here? And I don't know if she's here today. There you are. I love you, sweetie. Thank you for being here, Betty. I don't know where our Angie is. We're going to get on to her for not being here today. But you get the sense that we're open to build these connections, and we need people. We really do. We are, Jonathan Haidt, an author, described us as being 90% 90% chimpanzee and 10% honeybee. That we have, but both of those are very social beings. And so the way that we know that we have more social and need for each other than chimpanzees do, because you will never see two chimpanzees carrying a log together in the jungle or in the forest. They don't cooperate like that. But that's been the success of our species, is that we trust each other, we build together. And then when it stops working and it breaks down, we war. And we oppose. It's really, we're the best and the worst. But when we come from a spiritual intention, and what we teach here in Unity is our name, that we're one with God and we're one with each other. We forget. We don't always act from that deep truth of our oneness, but if we're willing to stay and work on it, then what we can build together in relationships is life-changing. It's healing. It brings so much meaning and good things to our lives. A few years ago, we had a good friend of mine I have a lot of friends. I just want to fess up, okay? Maybe unusual for a minister, but I really like people. I always have. I've always loved people. I collect them. I see cool people and it's like, oh, I want them in my life. And I've always been that way. I shared a few weeks ago, did a process with someone who did a chakra reading for me, and what he was getting, the energy, the message was something happened when I was 7 years old, and I couldn't remember anything, and he said, no, there was a deep, abandonment happened at 7, and it's like, no, my family was very stable. I thought, oh my God, my friend Suzanne Paris, my first best friend, moved away in 2nd grade. I was bereft. I've always been wired to friendship. It doesn't mean I've always been good at it. I just want it. I've also been pretty codependent in my life. I had to do some work on that, of trying to, if I be nice enough to you and if I give you what you want, you'll do what I want. That's not a healthy way to build true and lasting friendships. I had to learn that the hard way. This has been a long and fruitful, though difficult journey for me. So back to, I have 3 minutes to give this message now, so here we go. Alexis Rice is a friend of mine from Dallas, a spiritual teacher, and years ago I had her do a Wednesday service in the Pyramid, and I have no idea what she gave in that message that night, but what I do remember is she just had this little offhand, throwaway comment. She said, well, Jesus told us how to do relationship. Here's the model. You have the multitudes, you have the 12, and you have the 3. And then she went on and gave her talk. And I was like, well wait, what? That's big. And I asked her about it. She said, yeah, I've been working with that for a long time. And then I began to do my own reflection on that concept. And it has really been helpful for me. So I want to share it with you briefly. That Jesus, as the way shower, had this relationship with the multitudes. We are part of society. We are part of culture. We are a part, no person is an island, right? And the social contract, the way we show up in the big groups is important. Do they still teach citizenship? I don't know. The civics, we have a responsibility to each other, even the people that we don't know, a responsibility to take part in our civic life, to vote, and to respect each other, to be respectful, if we don't follow the rules, the system breaks down. And sometimes the rules are unjust, and we have to protest the rules peacefully and nonviolently. This is what we're asked to do in this multitude relationship. Each of us needs to take our responsibility to live as a good citizen, as a good member of a spiritual community. That's a really important thing, and I don't think we spend enough time talking about it, but I got to move on. The 12, the disciples, for us, that represents the tribe, your people. The people that you can trust, that you can call on when you need to move. I always try to be out of town on those days. But you know what I'm talking about? Those are your friends. Those are the people that you have built trust and relationship with. Now, what I've found, you've ever heard this thing about a reason, a season, or a lifetime? People come into our lives sometimes for a reason. The relationship may not last that long, but some important thing is imparted to us and us to them. And then the seasonal relationships, we have people for, months or years or even decades, but then it does come to an end. And as we've been studying a lot lately about the impermanence of form, all things come to an end here in this realm. And so with this second place, the tribe, these are the people where we really begin to do our deeper work of growth and authenticity. This is where we will begin to shine our light in a different way. I meant to say earlier what Jesus said about the multitudes. I take from Matthew chapter 5:16, where it says, let your light shine before men, that you may glorify your Father in heaven. That we are meant to be good examples of spiritual beings living human experiences. We're called to be visible as the light. And with this second group, the 12, we are to impart that light to one another in a way that is helpful and meaningful. That we get to support each other. And we get to ask for support. Who here has a problem with asking for help? Look around. I'm keeping my hand raised on purpose. I'm not good at this. And in spiritual community, finding those 7 12 people that I trust them. Say, I'm struggling here. Can you help me? It's been incredibly powerful to be able to ask for help. What else do I want to tell you about the 12? Oh, I don't know where I got this one, but it really feels true. These are the kind of friends where it says, God gave you friends to make up for your family. I'll just say that and I'll leave it there. And then the 3. And in the life and the ministry of Jesus, it was Peter, James, and John, the inner circle, the ones that were on the Mount of Olives for the Transfiguration. These are the people who are here. They are here with you. The people that you really drop all of the pretense. And if you don't have at least one person in your life that you are able to be that vulnerable with, I encourage you to cultivate that relationship. But first, and this is the whole point of today, as I shared with the kids earlier, Emerson's quote, which I misquoted, the only way to have a friend is to be a friend. So whether we're talking about inviting other people to be good citizens in the world and not judging so much, that's for another day. Or we're talking about cultivating that tribe of your 12 or 20 people that you can count on, or whether we're talking about the most intimate and supportive relationships imaginable. Guess what? To have it, you got to be it. And what's that mean for us? It means we got to do our own personal work. And I've told you before, I'm high maintenance. It takes a lot of work to keep this chassis running. I'm telling you. I have in my life, for emotional and relational and spiritual health, I've required a lot of work. 12-step recovery, committed years of work, and we know that story. Therapy. I've had many therapists. I still have one. They're great. Just someone that they begin to ask the questions to get me to think about things that no one else will do. They're trained to do this. It's important. I have prayer partners, people that I talk with for an hour. I have 4 people every week we get together for an hour. People I've known for decades who share this path with me. And we build that relationship of trust and honesty. It's taken a lot of work. And the benefits. Oh my gosh. The blessings of having people. I know if it all goes up in smoke, I'm okay. Do you know that? Do you have that sense? Like I can lose the job, I can lose the boyfriend, I can lose the house, I could do all those things and I'm fine. And I believe that because I've done some of that. And guess what? My friends were there for me. When my relationship ended 2 years ago, I was devastated, just heartbroken. And I had friends fly in from California and New York and Colorado, and I didn't want them to come. But they insisted. They infested my home. And these are the friends that I've had since I was 18 years old. And we played Mexican train dominoes. And they drank beer in my house. And they healed me. And they held me. And I needed it. So the last thing I want to tell you is that this is here for you. These kind of healing friendships, they're available to you. Isolation, and Vivek Murthy, who is our wonderful Surgeon General, he's been talking about this. This is his platform right now, is that we are experiencing an epidemic of loneliness and isolation. And we're seeing it in elevated suicide rates and elevated mental health issues. It's everywhere, and it's in this church. It's in your family. You know this. There's going to be a lot of work, not just having better friends, but friendship is so important for us. And it's such a path of healing. And you can just get out of the habit, right? You just get out of the habit of connecting with people. It's easier just to go home and isolate. But I'm inviting you to break that habit, to open yourself to the possibility of connecting again. And it requires something none of us likes, but is required: vulnerability. What if they say no, they don't want to be my friend? They might. Can you build your spirit strong enough that you'll be okay? That was not my person. you might be my person. You might be my person. And to just keep putting yourself out there. Guarded? Not guarded. How do I want to say that? Grounded. You can be vulnerable and yet grounded. And this is the place where we begin to make those connections and begin to heal our lives and begin to heal the world. So I do want to close here. I want to share with you our statement of belonging. Belonging, we create a spiritual home for all people, knowing that we are one body and that we belong to each other. I love that statement. After the service today, we're going to be ending in just a few minutes. I know people have told me this. People now who have deep friendships here at Unity, but for decades, they said, I headed out the door as soon as that peace song started. I was out of here. I didn't want to stick around and talk to anybody. I didn't want to do that. And you may be one of those people. You might be new. It's okay. But here's what I want to invite you. Just try it. Just be in the grand experiment with us today. Stick around. Walk down the courtyard. We're going to make it really, really easy. So here's the two things I need you to understand about what we're doing over there today. Everyone is welcome at every table. That group that you see that you are sure they've all been best friends for 20 and you don't belong in that group, you belong in that group. And if someone comes up to the group, and these may be your best friends of 20 years, what I'm asking you to do, make room. Make room. Welcome people into your circle today. And if we can just do these two simple things, step into the circle if you don't have one yet, and if you're in a circle, make room for that person that stepped in. Can we do that? That's all we're asking today. Find that ability to connect. I've been here now. I moved to Houston in 2011. My first time here was in 2010. What I've seen is an evolution in this community of stronger community, deeper relationships. Our small group ministry is thriving. What we've gone through together has fostered these deeper connections. And this is an incredible place for you to make those friendships. They might even show up when you move. I don't know. I'm out of town that weekend. But they might show up. But you got to try. Would you join me in prayer now? So we just take a moment to open to the possibility of a greater, larger, more connected, more loving, more fulfilling life. And this is not only a possibility, this is a promise, because we are part of the one life. We are connected at source, connected at center to infinite good, infinite love, infinite possibility and power. That the life of God is living itself in and through me, in and through you, in and through this community. And so today we step into the possibility of healing through friendship, of opening our hearts and minds to one another, knowing that we don't have to be perfect, but we do have to be here, to be willing to be seen, to be willing to be heard, and as we see and hear those who are before us. So what I feel is the birth of beautiful friendships, the birth of new love and freedom in people's lives today, and I celebrate it. I give thanks for it, and so it is. Amen. You are worthy of belonging and connection. You are worthy of having amazing friendships. And if no one has told you yet today that they love you, I love you. God bless you.
Thank you for watching this message today. I'd like to invite you to join us in person here on campus at Unity of Houston for Sunday morning or Wednesday evening services. If you can't be with us here on our campus, you can still join us live on Facebook or on our website, unityhouston.org, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Central.